welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I know it's been a while, and I'm going to make an excuse this time. I moved to a new location. As you can see, this is not going to be the permanent studio, but Rick was kind enough to let me use this spot up above the barn to shoot this episode, and I'll probably do a couple up here until we finally get the studio built in the new place. Moving is stressful, as you know. So here we are, and we went on vacation to Sicily, right in the middle of all that moving. Now we're trying to organize the house. It's just craziness. But when I was in Sicily, every restaurant we went to had at least 2 or 3 Nero di Avola on their menu. And it really piqued my interest because in all these places, every one had a little bit of a difference to it. They weren't as the same. You know, like when you drink a cab, you generally get a cab. Sometimes, you know, if you're Paso Robles, you might get a little more fruit, things like that. But generally speaking, you know it's a cab, you know it's a Merlot, etc., Pinot Noir. But this had some variation in it. I thought that was very interesting. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do some research on Nero di Avola, and I'm going to do a couple of episodes on Nero di Avola on this station. And I'm going to get going again. Now that all the moving is done, now that the vacation is over, I can finally get back to shooting episodes on YouTube. 800 followers now. Thank you for those who subscribed, even though I wasn't putting out new content there for a little bit. But thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And I hope I can give you some good information and some good guidance on buying wine. Nero di Avola, it is... The idea is that the name comes from the southeastern city of Avola. It's called the Black of Avola. Most of the Nero di Avola is grown on the east coast of Sicily, and they grow it even up in the upper hills and down in the lower lands where it's warm. So, of course, Sicily is a warm Mediterranean island, and let me tell you, when we were in Palermo in the middle of September, it was very warm. So yes, it's a warm area. So a lot of these Nero di Avolas can be a little bit fruit forward, but as they get up higher in elevation, the alcohol tends to drop, and they tend to show more finesse, different flavor profiles. When we were over in Taormina, we went and visited Planeta Winery, and it was very interesting to me that the guide there pointed out that Nero di Avola really does show soil composition, you know, typicity of the soil. It shows the different areas. It's definitely based on the, how come I can't think of the word? It's escaping me, and I say it all, terroir, excuse me. I don't know why that escaped me. So we're going to look at 3 different Nero di Avolas. It also is known as Calabrese, grown mostly on the east coast of Sicily. I think that's about the main things you need to know. Cool thing I like about Nero di Avola is it is affordable wine. It's very hard to find a Nero over $25. Most of them are 20 and under, which is always nice when you're trying to work, you know, trying to drink on a budget, so to speak. So we're going to get started right off the bat with the little rustic. That's okay. It works. This is the Stamara Nero di Avola, Sicily, estate grown, 2017, sustainably farmed, and this rolls in at $12, 13% alcohol. There you go. Excited to try. Oh no, really? I do miss my studio and the old place, but you know, we love this new place. So here we go. The Stamara Nero di Avola. Let's see what we get on the nose. Oh wait, a color, pretty dark, actually. Hope the lighting's okay in here. A lot of licorice on the nose. A lot of licorice. Almost kind of a raspberry licorice. Even getting hints of chocolate. A little bit of minerality coming through as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. Definitely has chocolate undertones, but a lot of minerality, which is really cool if you're into that kind of dusty crushed rock thing going on with the chocolate. Definitely getting some cherry and raspberry components on the palate. Good fruit, nice balance. This is a good food wine. I guarantee you this would be great with food. And I'm getting a little spice action on the back end, which I always like, a little bit of white and black pepper. Some good tannins on this one. A little bit of grit on the backside. This would benefit with food. I'd love to have this with a steak, pizza, things like that. We did do a little Sicilian street food tour that was really fun. Got to taste some of the authentic foods of Sicily. It was really cool. And I could see this going with, they had some pizza roll thing. There's some really cool foods. This would be perfect with it. I'd also take this with lamb as well. Nice balance, good structure, well-made Nero d'Avola with nice minerality. So if you're kind of into, a lot of my watchers like those old world wines. This says up minerality and the fruit and the chocolate tones. It's really, really a nice Nero d'Avola for $12. I'm going to go straight up B, hedging towards B+. Nice start. Now let's move on to the Villa Pozzi Nero d'Avola, Sicily. This is, what's a vintage on this one? Usually they're so easy to find. Sorry guys, the vintage is not striking me. Now that is so weird when you can't find the vintage on these. This is also 13% alcohol. Why don't I see a 2021? There it is, small letters. 2021 Villa Pozzi Nero d'Avola. This rolls in at $15. Let's give it a little rinse. You don't even want to know what I'm dumping this into. Actually, I found my mop bucket to dump into. For now, we'll have a dump bucket in the next episode. So this is just part one of 2 parts on Nero d'Avola. I didn't want to go into a big lineup because, you guys, again, a little bit darker. This one has more of a reddish hue to it than the other one. Let's see what we get on the nose. Licorice as well. Getting definitely red cherries. There's a little bit of a red flower component coming through on the nose, which I like. I like it when you get flower nose. Licorice, red cherries, red flowers. Let's see what we get on the palate. Boy, this has a nice, almost the red flower notes really come through. And I'm getting a little, red cherry. It's more on the red fruit side. The chocolate notes on the other one, this is different. Totally different. See, there we go. Exactly what I was talking about. Showing different qualities, different area perhaps, maybe higher elevation, and maybe not oaked at all. I can't tell. Because now, this is one thing about Nero d'Avola that I forgot to mention, is that they do like to give it oak treatment, which will give it those chocolate qualities, maybe a spiciness. They also like to do it without oak, a little younger, a little fresher. This tastes pretty fresh, and it's good. It's good and it's fresh in a good way. Almost a red licorice hit on the mid palate. Red flowers coming through really nicely. The licorice notes are kind of buried underneath what they're there. Again, good tannins, not quite as tannically, is that a word, tannically? I'm going to make it a word. Tannically structured at the first one, but still nice and fresh on the palate. Nice integration across the palate, good balance, well made. Again, great pasta with red sauce, pizza. This is a great wine for that. It's only $15. I'm going to go BB plus on that one as well. I think it's a very well made Nero d'Avola. We have 2 in a row now, B, B+, Villa Nero d'Avola, $15. More in the chocolate area, the Stamari. Very interesting. I'm going to just take a little quick splash of this. It would be hard to think that they did oak on the $12 one and no oak on the 15. But the first one definitely has notes that would suggest oak treatment. Now, both good wines, nice start. And again, different, and that's what I noticed, and that's what really piqued my interest. Now, I've had Nero d'Avola many times in my life, but never so many in a row. You know, night after night, Nero d'Avola, Nero d'Avola. Of course, I did Etna Rosso. My wife, Susie, did Etna Bianco. So, yeah. But I did notice the difference, and I noticed that in those two right now. A lot of times, Nero d'Avola is compared to Syrah, which I think is interesting. So this is the last one we're going to do today is the 2020 Rosso di Morgante, Nero d'Avola, Sicily. It rolls in. It's the most expensive of the bunch at $18. Now, you know, we have not, this is the highest one and it's $18. And you're going to find that a lot with Nero d'Avola. They're really good values. Now, you can find an expensive one here and there, but overall they tend to be a little bit less money. Planeta and Donna Fugata sort of ramped up Nero d'Avola in the 21st century. Actually, Nero d'Avola was used mostly as a blending grape during the 20th century, and then the winemakers started getting serious about it and making it into a single varietal in the 21st century. So we've seen it really grow in that category of seeing more Nero d'Avola on the shelf. It's kind of exciting. So let's see what, oh, this one's the darkest of the bunch, almost into the purple zone. Purple black. Let's see what we get on the nose. Now this has some serious chocolate tones on the nose. Licorice. So licorice seems to be a common denominator in these wines. Chocolate, licorice, I get kind of a dark, almost hedging towards currant. Almost a dried currant notes. Yeah, nice aromatics on this wine. Let's see what we get on the palate. I wonder what the alcohol content is on this baby. 14%. So it's the highest alcohol level. This is a plusher Nero d'Avola, way plusher than the other two, way more plush than either of the other two. A lot of people would like this Nero d'Avola. It's got the, it does have black raspberry notes, chocolate. Kind of a more powerful mid palate that it morphs into a nice clean finish. Licorice notes come through, chocolate, dark cherry or currant. I'm going currant side with a little black raspberry thrown in there. Nice balance, very seamless across the palate. This is like, wow. This is like a, you know, you just spent $18 on a bottle of wine. You're going, yeah, that's pretty good for $18. It is. There's some interesting, like just slight dried bark notes that kind of sneak in there underneath. Kind of like a kiss of dried bark. Making it very, this is more complexity than either two. I like both those wines, as you can tell by my grade. But this is head and shoulders above these two the other two. So we're going to have to go A+ on this Rosso di Morgante Nero d'Avola. Guys, $18. You are going to love this wine. As you know, I run a very busy wine department, and I like these episodes not just because I like to help you guys out, but it helps me find new wines for my department, and you know, wines to stack, to sell, to crush with, and I think this one will land on the shelf, KC. Just saying. There you have it. I'm back at it. I'm not going to slow down. I'm going to keep going. And again, I really appreciate you guys subscribing, even though I haven't put out content. I think it's been a couple of months, so really appreciate it. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.